Mornings feel different now, mostly because they are quieter than they used to be, and I have to admit that the silence sometimes feels so calm it is almost suspicious. I really thought retirement would feel lighter, like a big exhale after years of being busy. And for a while it did. Coffee lasted longer, there was no rush to get anywhere, and I could sit and ease into the day without checking the clock every 5 minutes like it was my boss. But some days, the quiet feels heavier than I expected, and I find myself wondering what to do with all this time and what I should be doing now. I even catch myself checking the clock out of habit, even though the clock has absolutely nothing for me anymore. If you have felt that too, you are not alone. Today is just a gentle conversation about taking care of your inner world when life changes, because some of the biggest changes after retirement happen quietly inside us. There comes a moment when the old routine is gone, and you really start to feel it. Days that used to be full now feel more open, and sometimes they feel a little unstructured. You might reach for things that used to be part of your day, and then remember they are not there anymore. Like checking your email, even though nobody is waiting for you to reply. You may find yourself looking at the clock more often, not because you are late, but because time feels different now, and old habits do not leave without saying goodbye. Many of us, work was not just something we did, it was part of who we were. Our title, our role, and the way people knew us all gave us a sense of identity, and when that is gone, a quiet question can come up about who we are now if no one is asking what we do. It can feel a bit like showing up to a party without a name tag, where everyone else seems to know who they are and you are still figuring it out. There is also the feeling of being less needed, with fewer calls and fewer people asking for your help. Afternoons can feel especially quiet, even though you know you still have so much to offer. It is funny how we can even start to miss the things that once annoyed us, and I have caught myself missing meetings I used to avoid, which tells me the human brain has a strange sense of nostalgia. Sometimes loneliness shows up even when you are not actually alone. You can be sitting with someone you care about and still feel a little distant inside, like something just feels off, and that can be hard to explain. But many people feel it. Then there is that quiet question in the background about what comes next. It is not panic, just a steady wondering, and when you have spent years working with deadlines and schedules, having none can feel strange. The freedom is nice, but it can also feel confusing, like being given a very large map with no clear directions on where to start. Someone I know named David recently retired, and at first everything felt good for him. He enjoyed late breakfasts, morning walks, and not having pressure to be anywhere, and he even joked that his alarm clock had officially been demoted. But after a while, the days started to feel very open, and his calendar had a lot of blank space. David was not unhappy, just a little unsure. He found himself tidying things that were already tidy, standing by the window longer than usual, and wondering why he felt this way when life looked fine from the outside. Here is the gentle truth. Nothing is wrong with you, and nothing about these feelings means you did something wrong. If feeling unsettled after retirement is not a failure, it is simply part of adjusting to a new chapter, and when something important changes, the heart needs time to catch up. If you feel a heaviness in the afternoon, you are not alone. And if you feel a little envious when others are busy, that does not mean you are losing your value. It just means your sense of purpose is shifting. Even laughing about missing things you once complained about is normal too, because our minds like to surprise us that way. So let us name what hurts gently, including the change in routine, the shift in identity, feeling less needed, feeling lonely at times, and wondering what comes next. When we name these things, they lose some of their weight, we stop fighting them, and we give ourselves space to breathe, which is something we rarely had time to do before anyway. In that space, calm begins to return, little by little. Now let us talk about finding steadiness, not through strict plans, but through simple routines that feel kind. A small daily rhythm can help. Something gentle to begin the day, like taking a glass of water, doing a light stretch, or even taking a few quiet breaths by the window, which is far more peaceful than rushing out the door half-dressed. When the morning starts the same way, the mind feels more grounded. Moving slower can be a good thing, because when we are not rushing, we notice more, such as the warmth of a cup in our hands, the sound of birds outside, and the way our shoulders relax when no one is watching the clock. Slowing down is not laziness, it is care, even if your old schedule might disagree. David decided to try a simple habit where every morning after coffee, he took a short walk around the block, not to count steps, but just to get some fresh air and notice the day. He took the same route each time. And after a week, it started to feel comforting, even though the scenery did not change much, and neither did the neighbor's dog that barked every morning. The walk became something familiar and steady. Identity does not disappear just because a job ends. It simply changes shape. You may still be the person who listens well, the one who fixes things, or the one who shows up for others, and those parts of you are still there. They just need a new place to belong, preferably one that does not involve a tie or a time card. Connection helps more than we realize, and even one small reach out a day can make a difference. Whether it is a message, a phone call, or a short visit. It does not have to be big, because connection grows from simple moments, not calendar invites. Helping others also brings meaning back, and it does not have to be anything fancy. Whether it is driving someone to an appointment, sharing a skill, or helping a neighbor, doing one useful thing can remind you that you still matter, even if your biggest responsibility now is remembering where you put your reading glasses. You can even be gentle with your sense of humor by writing something like, "Sit and enjoy the quiet" on your calendar, and then actually doing it, because there is real comfort in giving yourself permission to just be without explaining it to anyone. The way you talk to yourself matters too, and instead of saying, "Why am I struggling?" you can try saying, "I am learning a new way of living," because that small change in words can make a big difference. And it sounds a lot kinder than the old inner critic. David kept the walk, added a weekly check-in with a friend, and started helping out one morning a week somewhere nearby. Nothing stressful, just showing up, and slowly the days felt easier. Afternoons felt calmer, and evenings felt lighter. Nothing dramatic changed, but something inside settled, and even his houseplant seemed to approve. This is how steadiness grows, through small habits, through connection, and through kindness toward yourself. Meaning does not appear all at once, it grows through small actions. You can choose one simple, meaningful thing to do each day and keep it easy, because even 5 minutes is enough, whether that means wiping a surface, watering a plant, or making something warm to eat, and sharing a portion with someone else. When you finish, take a moment to notice it, because you did something that mattered, and even small things count, especially when no one is handing out performance reviews anymore. Creating 2 gentle anchors in your day can also help, with one in the morning and one in the evening. Morning might be your quiet coffee time, and evening might be a moment to reflect and say thank you for something good, which is a much nicer habit than worrying about tomorrow. Giving yourself permission to rest is important too, because some days doing less is doing enough, and some days sitting outside and breathing is the most meaningful thing you can do. You are not broken, you are becoming, and meaning returns slowly through simple human moments. This new season asks for care, not perfection, just patience. Uncertainty does not mean something is wrong, it only means you are learning a new rhythm, and rhythms take time to settle in. Your value is not tied to a job or a schedule. It lives in how you show up, how you listen, and how you care, which are things no one can retire from. This stage of life still matters, and it can be full of warmth, connection, and quiet purpose, even if your calendar now looks more relaxed than it used to. David kept his small routines with the walk, the volunteer hour, and the weekly chat, and life did not become busy again, but it became meaningful in a new way. You may even realize you miss your old commute less than you thought, because there is something nice about watching the day begin, from your own window with coffee in hand and nowhere urgent to be. You do not lose who you were, you carry it forward in a gentler way. Keeping simple practices, letting time guide you, returning to your anchors when your mind feels restless, reaching out when your heart feels distant, and doing one small kind thing when purpose feels unclear is how a new life takes shape in a calm, intentional, and human way. Before you move on with your day, take a moment to notice how you're really feeling right now. Not how you think you should feel, but how you actually feel. Whatever that is, it's okay. The season of life isn't about becoming someone new overnight. It's about allowing yourself to be who you are today with kindness. And sometimes just being understood is enough. If you feel comfortable, I'd love to hear in the comments what this season of life has been teaching you lately.